Welcome back to the Compound Podcast. This is episode 137.
I think it's 38, though, because I had an old email that said 37. I don't know if Tom was right, but I trust Tom more than myself.
Tom's lost count of the episodes.
I trust Tom a lot more than myself. Looking it up.
It was brought to you by Parse Rum. Now, Dakota's just going to keep talking for the entire intro, but this is brought to you by Parse Rum. I love Parse, you love Parse. It's the best time of year to get someone a gift, and that gift should be Parse Rum. Make someone's day, make someone's year.
This is definitely 38.
No, it's 37. I think at some point, I went back and did some math. I was on a plane. I did some math. I think at some point we skipped a number. So I think we're doing 37 again, technically.
I was going to say last week, I just played last week's episode and we said, welcome to episode 137.
Who really knows what
we're not a math company.
Is?
John Boy Media, known not math company. So We're trying our best.
That's fair.
Here's where we're at. We're back. We took a week off. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving and a great holiday. It was really nice timing for all of us. Tom was at a wedding. I don't know what Zach and Dakota were doing, but now we're back.
A lot of nothing.
I was all over the place. We're back. Dakota just got home from a workout because he cares and he's really a hard worker.
My bad.
I want you guys to know that. And he's really bringing the energy. He hasn't eaten since noon. He's drinking a protein shake. Anything else you want to tell the people, Dakota?
The big fella's hungry. He's dehydrated. But I'm not going to make excuses here. I'm going to give you my best every time out. You know, that's just all I can do for you.
Hey, everybody's playing hurt this time of the year.
This time of the year, everyone's a little banged up.
Come on.
I want to start with a topic that I know that you'll be fired up about. Okay. Want to talk?
Don't talk about it.
I want to talk about it.
I know what you're going to say. I don't want to talk about it. Neither does Tom.
I want to talk about the USA soccer team. Okay.
I knew you were going to say it.
They got through pool play. Big deal. Really nice. Everybody's fired up.
Group play.
That's what I said. I know soccer. And then
you do though. We used to.
They play the Netherlands. 3-1. Tough game. Tough grind. What do you got?
We used to go to the locker room.
Are you going to fire the coach?
No, we used to go to the locker room at 8 a.m. to watch the women's team.
That was the women. I'm into the women.
But wasn't that when the boys were all on their betting stuff, and like that was the reason why they rallied behind the women?
Ian never
Hab shaking his head.
Ian literally, like, I would go in there early because I remember at my apartment I didn't have a TV, so I was like, I'm gonna go to the field early as fuck and watch the games, and I would. And Ian's like, yeah, what time you getting there? And like he would be there too, and I'm like, all right, I guess Hap's locked in too. Let's go.
I mean, we were throwing some money out there on the girls. I was fired up about it. Okay,
maybe we
fired
were
up about it.
Sorry.
What do you got? I want you to talk about.
But yes, Berhalter out. I'm done watching them. I can't even watch him on the sidelines. Tom, I'll give you.
I can watch him on the sidelines because his shoes are fucking dope.
He's on the sidelines and he just looks like he doesn't have a clue. I don't know anything about soccer. I know nothing. I know like the rules. That's it. And I know our players and I watch a good amount of it, but I don't know any tactics. But I'll tell you who else doesn't know tactics. Greg Berhalter. That guy's a fucking idiot.
You want to talk about a nepotism hire? His brother was COO of the U.S. Soccer Federation. Guess who gets to pick the head coach? The U.S. Soccer Federation.
Huh.
To answer your original question, though, Ian, most national team coaches only really get one World Cup cycle. At that point, they're done. I would be very surprised if they brought him back. If they bring him back, I'm going to lose my mind in a way that I've truly not lost my mind. Also, if I see Haj Wright on the street, I'm throwing hands. I will lose the fight.
He scored.
That's fine.
No,
he didn't do that on purpose. We both know that was luck.
I saw like a tweet that said like, what a goal. I'm like, that was not at all what he was trying to do, but it was sick.
Timeout. This is a national team though. Like these are supposed to be the best players in the country. No, why? Yeah. How does a coach have this much effect on? It's like coaching the Warriors back in their prime, or like
we don't have the most talent though. I mean, we're not.
I know, but like how much are you gonna do?
So you watch like Netherlands coach. I mean, they have a very good team, but their coach is like unbelievable. Like tactically, like just the way they prepared for the US.
Our team's game plans usually fine the first half. Like we've usually played pretty good first halves.
Oh,
their coach said they made no halftime adjustments. The Netherlands coach said our coach made no halftime adjustments.
Didn't they score in the second half?
Sure. It was a fluke.
It was 2-1. It was 2-1.
We were way closer to our first half was way better than our second half. Our first half, we were the better team. We were down 2-0, and I feel confident saying we were the better team in the first half. Would you agree, Tom?
And they scored in both their chances.
They had 2 good chances where we just said, here's a free cutback to the middle of the box. There you go. Enjoy your
Ultimately,
goals.
not having a good striker is like not having a good bullpen in baseball. Like you can do everything else right, but when it gets down to it, you need the guy at the end of the game who can shut the fucking door. We didn't have that guy who could score the fucking goal we needed to score. And Haj Wright was certainly not that guy.
I could talk about this for hours with Tom. Quick thing, Ian, before I get to your question. This is a deep cut, 2 deep cuts. This is only for people might hate this part. Don't care. First of all, Tom, did you see Balogun is considering the U.S.? That's huge. He would be a striker. Like he'd be in there every single game.
They needed to try to call him up now, though. He was killing it in France.
Yes.
Before this. But,
2, my biggest gripe with Berhalter is you go through the group stage and you don't play Gio Reyna. He played, I think, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, the whole group stage. And then, because he never plays a false 9, he wants a striker, he needs a striker. And then you go to the second half, you're down 2-0. You go, all right, let's go false 9 now. Like we're down 2-0. Now let's put Gio in there. Fuck it, let's try it. It made no sense to me. Like, why do you wait that long to do it then if you've never done it?
He's just not a national team coach. And the thing that really hurt us, I think, was the lack of quality outside of our starting 11. If you did a draft of the team, those 2 teams, probably taking 4 Netherlands guy before you take an American. But after that, it's pretty, I would say, fairly even from that point on. The problem is once you get to the benches again, you're taking every guy in the Netherlands bench before you take like 1 American off the bench.
I think we had the midfield advantage, and that was about it.
Ian? Have you guys ever thought about doing a soccer podcast together?
Well, it's
Here's
only
my second question.
It's only
my
the
second question
is national team.
Second question is maybe Ted Lasso for coach 2027. When's it come back?
26. It's in the U.S. Get it, Ian. Lock in.
It's in the U.S. Where is it?
Well, it's in North America. There's 16 different locations.
It's all over the place. It's not like in one
16 locations.
World Cup.
It's like New York, Chicago might have one.
Does the U.S. automatically qualify since they're hosting it?
Yes. So does Mexico and so does Canada.
Ooh, thank God.
Wait, how do they do that? They play in 16 different cities for group play?
It just kind of like it's different regions. So it goes by region. Like there's West Coast regions, and then there's like I think like Vancouver might be one, and LA, and
the Jets stadium hosts
Jets is one. Like there's New York, Boston, like there's 16 different locations, but they're like grouped together in 4 separate groups, and that's where like they'll play.
Where do they play the final, friend?
I don't know. I haven't seen that yet.
I saw Mercedes, the Superdome is one of them. Or the George, whatever it is now. I think it's Superdome, right?
This is very interesting. This has been Soccer Pod brought to you by
real quick. My last thing on it. Two points. One, I'm gonna save every dollar I have to make sure I can go to a game in 2026. 2, I am proud of the way we played. Tom, would you agree? I said if we make it out of the group, I can't be upset because this has always been a 2026.
Why though? Why?
Because we're just not as talented. Like Netherlands is so much more talented than us.
We've never made it past the quarterfinals in the history of the tournament.
And I think we showed enough that in 2026, like now it's like, wait a second, like these guys we have like the second youngest team in the whole World Cup. So in 2026,
all of our players should be in their prime.
We're gonna make some noise.
USA 2026.
And Ian's buying us all tickets to the finals. Yeah.
Group trip. Just so you guys know, that was soccer. That was Soccer Pod brought to you by Muggsy Jeans. Muggsy Jeans, best jeans out there. Super stretchy, super great. They also have chinos. They also do a couple of hoodie things, but really, they do really, really great jeans. Best jeans I ever had. Only jeans I'll ever wear. Code JOHNBOY, 10% off. Plus free shipping. That's code JOHNBOY, 10% off, plus free shipping. Muggsy Jeans, good holiday gift. Think about it. Get some Parse, get some Muggsy Jeans. Yes, Dakota.
Last thing on the World Cup.
Oh, soccer.
Last thing I'll say. Very last thing I'll say. Isn't it cool, Zach? In a million years, would you watch a soccer game other than the USA?
No,
and you watched them, right?
I did.
And that's what I just think that's cool because like a lot of people don't ever watch soccer. But the World Cup's sick. Like
I was just a huge Greg fan, so that's why I tuned in.
Well, you're disgusting.
The players all talked about that their goal for this team was to inspire the next generation of American players, especially because there was no 2018 World Cup. They didn't necessarily play the most exciting brand of soccer, so I don't know if that happened, but I hope it did. Also, by the way, we're mad. Chicago didn't get any World Cup games. The cities are Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, LA, Miami, New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Seattle for the 2020.
Can you even consider New York?
It's New York / New Jersey, but yeah.
Half for Chicago. Let's get into baseball offseason, free agency. Couple of splashes. A lot earlier than last year, huh? Because of the lockout. Well, technically, no. Wasn't there splashes right before the lockout, which was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago was the lockout time?
Oh, well, I thought it was like right away. I'm blocked out.
Well, sorry. But regardless, Verlander, 2 for 86. DeGrom, 5/185. Is that number right?
Yes.
Turner, 11 for 300. Where do you want to start?
I would like to start with the Phillies and Trea Turner.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I saw a tweet that between, I forget the exact, it was Castellanos, Schwarber, Harper, Trea Turner, Zach Wheeler, maybe one more person. They have over $1 billion committed.
I think Real Muto. Did you forget Real Muto?
Real Muto, yes, that was the last one. And that is insane to think about.
Interesting thing here, interesting tidbit. So Turner gets 11 years. We know Bryce got 13. One of the things that this does for them, extending the term to 11 years, and even though you're paying him until he's 40, you do get that lower AAV. So your luxury tax implication is $27 million. As opposed to like Verlander's deal, the luxury tax implication is $43 million. So by these guys taking a little bit of a longer term, 13 for Bryce, 11 for Turner, it allows them to go and get more players and stay under that or within a reasonable range of that luxury tax threshold. And people have been saying if Turner is getting 27 a year, what are these other shortstops going to get? But you have to remember that the shorter the term, in general, the higher the AAV is going to be. So, one of the other guys, whether it's Correa or Bogarts or Swanson, they're going to push up on that number. You might even see one of the guys bounce over that number for a really short AAV.
Dude, that's so much money, what these guys are getting. And the DeGrom one was interesting to me because he's 34, 35. He's been injury plagued, I guess you could say, over his career, which is always, it's tough because, it's tough for hitters, obviously. But like as a fan, you want to see, especially somebody like him, you want to see him out there every fifth day. And with how good he is, if I were a GM or an owner, I think I would have a little bit of a tougher time giving that much money and length to him opposed to Verlander for 2 to 3 years for $1 bazillion. Obviously I hope. Huh?
I listened to Talking Baseball when I was working out today, and they said the high offer to DeGrom from the Mets was 3 for $120.
And that's where, obviously it's a business standpoint. And I don't blame them for, taking longer years, but it's tough. You go from the Mets who were in the playoffs this year, and then you're going to go to the Rangers who had less than 75 wins this year. It's like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it, but it's tough. I feel like they could use a few more pieces.
I think the Rangers are going to keep spending. I think they're going to be in on one of the other pitchers.
Yeah, I agree.
They probably need one more outfield bat. And they're going to go compete in the West. You still have the Astros there, but I think a lot of teams saw what the Phillies did this year. They squeaked in, and then they made that amazing run because they have really good players. And I think some front offices took note of that. I do think Verlander and Scherzer, 1-2 for the Mets. They're up
back
there.
Back like their old days in Detroit.
Yeah, but they're those guys were. Scherzer had a little stretch there, wasn't healthy, but for the most part, those guys, they're pretty healthy. They're competitors. Like, they're going to go out there, they're going to make their starts. They have great track records. I don't know if you're DeGrom Scherzer or Verlander Scherzer. I don't know which. It's not like there's a clear winner in that 1-2 punch.
No,
probably who's the healthiest.
Did you see that Verlander is making obviously $43 million a year, and the Orioles' entire payroll is $44 million a year?
You know what else is scary?
One player.
There's two teams, the Pirates and maybe the A's, that have not given a free agent contract with a number over $40 billion on it. These guys are making $40 a year. They have never given a free agent contract that is a bigger number than 40 total.
Well, what's his Zach Eflin? Is that his last name? That's the highest raised free agent contract ever. Wasn't it?
How's that possible?
3 for 40. 3 for 40. And they said it's the highest ever given by the Rays.
That's insane. Possible?
Because like the Mets and they laugh at that. They're like, that's it. That's all you want is 3 for 40.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll throw you. Go ahead.
F1's deal is 3 for 40, and it is the largest deal in the history of the franchise.
Yeah.
And awarded free agency.
Insanity.
I can't comprehend that. I'm having a tough time comprehending that.
And they've had some success as well.
But they have a fan base who can't connect to any player because the longest they've ever given someone 3 for 40. But also they have done some extensions with Wander Franco and Evan Longoria. But it's crazy to me. They get these good players. As soon as they get to arbitration, they say, that's too much money. We're not going to pay you. They ship them off. That's not the way to build a fan base. Okay. It's not the way.
What do the Rangers do? Like, I hate all that.
They have the weirdest. I agree. Like last year they signed Seager, and was Simeon last year too.
Yep.
Yeah. And then
but it's like they get 2 huge guys and then like nothing. It's like,
they paid John Gray, or what's his name? Is that his name?
John Gray
from the Rockies.
Yeah. They paid him.
But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they have so many holes still. It's like, hey, like, how about you just sprinkle in like 3 or 4 good players instead of like 1 great player?
They have Perez.
Yeah. Martin Perez, Adolis Garcia.
Oh, they have other good players. I'm just saying, like, I feel like what Tom said, they make 1 big signing. Sorry, go ahead, Ian.
And I think they have some young guys coming up. And I think if they supplement the pitching with one other guy, they put together something that looks a lot more. I think when you sign 2 big free agents like they did with Seager and Simeon, you expect them to like go win right away. But those guys are signing with a bet that over the course of their contract, that team's going to put together a winner. And it doesn't always happen right away. Like the Cubs got really lucky when they signed Lester that they weren't supposed to be good in 2015. They signed John with the belief that they would continue to add and be good. And they everybody came up and was really productive right away. And the team was really good. Like, it doesn't always work like that. You have to get some good players in place to entice other good players, spend a little bit more money. Some young guys come up, and then you have to catch lightning in a bottle to be good.
Well, it's also like, not that Texas is a small market. I don't know where they rank, but with the Cubs and Yankees, like when they're rebuilding, I feel like it's easier to buy into that. Like with Lester, it's like, all right, you're the Chicago Cubs. Like, you can go buy players. Like, I know you're going to go buy players. And I feel like that's just easier to sell those guys on. Like the Rangers, I don't know. I don't know where they are.
I don't like any of the contracts the Rangers gave out. Like, respectfully,
they give out some big ones.
DeGrom's obviously great. Seager's obviously super talented. Like, but I'm just not a huge believer in seam. Like, no, I don't think any of these contracts move the needle for me in any significant way.
I mean, they still, it's weird because they have Nate Lowe, who was, I think he won Silver Slugger won something for
raked.
I think he hit 300.
Yeah.
Adolis Garcia.
I was going to say, I'm looking at their 40 man. There's a lot of guys I haven't heard of. Sorry, keep going.
No, but I don't know. Like you said, they have the names. I think the pitching, if they get again, they have Martin Perez, DeGrom, Gray. I mean, if they could get 2 or 3 more guys, fuck.
Hey, Jonah Heim.
Let me ask you another question. Tom.
Jonah Heim committed to Michigan State. Oops.
He's a New York guy.
If the Yankees went out and signed DeGrom for 185, or they signed Corey Seager for whatever he got, are you saying the same thing? Are you saying I don't understand that it's a bad contract?
No, because
of course not. But that's the context, right? Is that if the Yankees did that, they're potentially one piece away. The Rangers need 25 more pieces. IMO, they need them. They have a lot of holes.
I agree.
They used to, but the Rangers used to throw out those contracts. They signed Darvish. They signed Sin-Soo Choo back in the day.
Yeah, none of them worked, Ian. Like, respectfully, they went to
they were in the World Series. Take it easy.
But they've done this. This franchise has done this going all the way back to A-Rod. And we've shown over and over again that if you get one superstar, or even a couple superstars, and you don't make the necessary moves around them, it doesn't matter. Now, I think Rangers fans would push back and say they do have a lot of really great young pitching prospects coming up. They have Leiter, they have Rocker, I believe, as well. So there are certainly ways for them to supplement that outside of free agency, and I recognize that. I just personally don't like any of the contracts they've given out. That's just all I would say. Every move they've made, I've always just been like, where are we going with this Rangers team? DeGrom's 35. He's going to be 35 next season. We're not talking about signing a 28-year-old pitcher. This is a 35-year-old pitcher who's thrown less than 250 innings since 2019. There's some issues.
Tom, are you sitting on a couch right now?
I am. I had to move.
Playing couch GM? Tom, I want the Rangers to go out and win the West this year, just to prove you wrong. They have good players.
I would love that.
And guess what happens when you have good players? When you get good veteran players come in, they change the clubhouse. They change the things that are going on there. Those guys that have seen winning are going to come in. They've been there for a year. They're going to make some changes. I think they have a new coaching staff. Definitely a new GM, right? They fired their GM or president of baseball ops.
Well, they fired was it Woodward, right? In the middle of the year this year?
I think they fired Woodward, and then I think John Daniels was there and maybe is not there anymore. Am I getting those things right? I'm pretty sure.
They do.
They brought in, and they have a new manager. They brought in Bochy, right?
Yes, they did.
Oh, that's right.
They brought in Bochy, and I think Will Venable is the assistant manager, is what they're calling him, which is really the bench coach. But Will Venable's a stud. I think that they're creating a new culture there. They've had those guys for 1 year. Those guys are going to help mold what that culture looks like, and give them a minute. I think that team is going to be good. And I will never get mad at a team for spending money.
No, and I agree too, because Seager and Simeon both got off to like kind of shaky starts. I know Simeon was like really shaky for like the first half of the year. And it's like by that time, by the time he gets hot, it's kind of too late, obviously. But like I would not, if I were a betting man, I would not think that those two have a down year again. I know Seager had career high in homers, I'm pretty sure. But average-wise, it's not usually where he's at, nor Simeon, especially.
And people are going to want to play there. People are going to want to play there because it's a brand new stadium. It's a great city to live in. You have no state tax. You have Are
you trying to be a Ranger?
You heard it here first, folks. Ian Happ, I'm not trying to be anything but a Cubby.
He was lobbying to be a Yankee at the trade deadline too. I remember. Do you guys remember that?
Oh boy, Ian Happ wants.
People are going to want to go play in Texas. That's not going to be a hard place for those guys to recruit other guys to come play with them. And if they can put a better than 500 product out there next year, they're going to have a bunch of guys that want to go and play there. That's all I'm saying.
How many wins next year for them? How many wins next year for them?
They got to make more moves. If you look at their roster now,
that's the number I had in my head too. You want to go over under 85? I'll take under. You take over.
I'll go 84.5. I'll take the over.
Okay. But I feel like that's also dependent on what other moves they make. Like they could still go get other players.
Right now, 84.5.
Yeah, right now, 84.5. We're doing it right now, Dakota. We're not worried about
that. I'm trying to help you out here, Tom. Like if they go sign 3 more good players, I don't know.
Sign 3 more good players, I guess I'll lose. It's fine.
Then I'm scared for you.
I take the over.
All right.
Ian,
write that down. Write that down in the show notes. Write that down. Somebody in the audience, write that down. Can we talk about Judge? Where's he going? I think we are all thinking now that it's just San Francisco or New York, right? That's it. Everybody, if somebody else comes in and gets him, everyone would be shocked. Is that
I saw another one that said, I saw a tweet that said there's 2 dark horse teams, but they're not really in the mix. I go, then what are we talking about? Like who else is shelling that out?
Two
like,
fake dark horse teams.
But like, who has the money? Like,
did you guys see that the video when he got to San Francisco last week? They were like, "Oh, Judge, you're in San Francisco. What are you doing here?" Like,
or his family's there.
Yeah, I know. And like, I just thought it was kind of weird where it's like he's walking into a hotel and the reporter's just in it. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of.
They know he was going to be there.
That's what, like, I feel like it was kind of a smart move by someone in Judge's corner saying, "Hey, man, let's show that you're out in San Francisco. Let's get this out. Let's get this out there going."
Tom leaked it.
Yeah, I wish I had access to the Judge camp. I wouldn't be leaking that if I had access.
Wasn't it reported by Zach's boy JP that Judge was offered 8 for $300 from the Yankees?
Yeah, and I guess he wants 9 or could turn into 9. Which again, this gets back into those older age contracts where it's like, do you want to be paying somebody at 38, 39, 40, $35 million a year?
But to get them to come play for you, I think you have to. I think you have to give them those years. And that's why I think DeGrom went to Texas. He's like, hey, I'm not going to get another contract when I'm 39. Like, let's just have me get paid till then, no matter what. And I'm good.
What if I don't know? I know a lot of players backload their contract. Can you like front load it and say, hey, we'll give you the 9, but we're going to be, kind of chapped for the first few years.
Or you can Bobby Bonilla it.
That's the true.
Reason, sometimes they'll do deferrals like Bobby Bonilla, but the reason why a team wouldn't want to front load a contract is because it's better for them from a financial standpoint to actually
for sure.
pay later.
No, that's what I'm saying. Right.
Like Jay Hayes deal. And I'm trying to think of some other guys that had structured with opt-outs. Like if you have an opt-out in year 5 or whatever of a 9-year deal, they will structure it so there's some higher payment up front. And then your opt-out is like 5 years in. And then the last 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, are kind of a lower number so that you can realize more of the value if you're going to opt out. So some are structured like that. These guys obviously don't have opt-outs in their deals. But in DeGrom's situation, what you said, like getting 5 years, like Verlander's 39 and he just got a 2 for 86.
But he just had a 175. Like that's really betting on yourself that at age 38, 39, you're going to still be performing. And I feel like a hitter especially, that's
what, and it's,
we should mention, by the way, that there is a club option at the end of DeGrom's contract, which is right now for $20 million, could get up to 37
for a 6th, right?
That's a 6th year though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a club option for the 6th on him. And I think Verlander might have some kind of vesting option for a 3rd year too.
I think he did. You're right.